Entergy is proud to support programming on LPB and greener practices that preserve Louisiana.
The goal of our environmental and sustainability initiatives really is to ensure that our kids and future generations can be left with a cleaner planet.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, with support from viewers like you.
If someone is there on work release and they're being released in the community to do work every day, and they'll be released soon, why are they in jail anyway?
Calls for prison reform, especially during the pandemic.
I just can't imagine it not happening.
What LSU football fans are trying to wrap their minds around.
It's the work that teachers in Louisiana are doing every day, which is putting together things with bubblegum and shoestrings.
Administrators and teachers tackling COVID-19 and returning to the classroom.
I think you need to acknowledge the hands that built that building.
How a Port Allen museum helped an Old South narrative evolve. Hey everyone, I'm Andre Morrow. My partner Natasha Williams is working remotely this week. Much more on those top stories in a moment on this week's edition of SWI. But first, a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers in the state. And they're not good. Louisiana is one of the states where case numbers are spiking, and not included yet infection spread that may have happened as people gathered in big numbers to celebrate the 4th of July. Here's Governor John Bell Edwards.
We've had 3 weeks now of going in the wrong direction with respect to the numbers that we're seeing on cases and hospitalizations. And the numbers that we're going to talk about today don't reflect, obviously, whatever might have happened this weekend. And the reason I mentioned this past weekend, the 4th of July, is we definitely know now that Memorial Day really was a point in time at which our numbers stopped getting better and then started getting worse. I pray and I hope that that does not happen with activity surrounding the 4th of July.
And here's where we stand to date with a near record number of more than 2,600 new cases reported today. And we've got other news about the virus and other stories now making headlines across our state. In this campus-wide email to students who she says recklessly partied July 4th weekend, Tulane's Dean of Students warned they could face expulsion if anything like it happens again. Reports and photos of the large gatherings spread quickly. Dean Erica Woodley told them their actions during this pandemic were selfish and shameful and not in line with Tulane values. The governor says $50 million of CARES Act education relief money is now available for schools K through 12 and higher education. About $35 million will go to the Education Department and $15 million to the Board of Regents. Edwards says the money can help address the gap in the teaching process that happened when COVID-19 shut down schools. The National Science Foundation awarded the LSU Manship School a check for $138,000 to further its research on social and economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic in the state. Researchers from the Public Policy Lab and Riley Chair in Political Communication are the benefactors. State workers are getting pay raises this year after all, despite the pandemic's battering of state finances. The governor says he vetoed a legislative decision to withhold the $57 million needed for the salary hikes. Lawmakers sought to stall the pay raises in the budget that began July 1st. When the special session wrapped, legislators left nearly $106 million of the state's surplus undecided, socked away into a fund for spending or saving later. The state had a surplus of almost $535 million after closing the books last budget year. The lawmakers could decide this fall to put the $106 million in the rainy day fund. One of the state's education leaders is calling for public schools to cancel athletics this fall amid the surging coronavirus. Senate Education Chairman Cleo Fields sent letters to Bessie and the School Boards Association, citing a need for safety precautions. And the governor and a majority of state house members say they oppose the canceling of public prep sports this fall. Also in the headlines, state Democrats say they will elect a new leader this summer. Karen Carter Peterson announced she won't seek re-election as party chair. The State Department of Education is releasing new guidelines for students returning to school this fall during the pandemic. Natasha Williams spoke with a longtime teacher working with the focus to educate kids while keeping them safe.
Veteran teacher turned administrator Jonathan Loveall is part of the team in East Feliciana Parish preparing schools for the return of students under the new strict COVID-19 guidelines.
But as many of those plans as we make material reality is it's teachers who are going to have to implement the plan. It's teachers who are going to have to be creative.
Loveall knows this all too well. He spent 7 years in the classroom and says in these unprecedented times, educators will have to use every level of their experience and expertise to assure that students are not only learning, but in a safe environment. And he says, adding to these challenges, they also have to play catch up.
How do we ensure that we meet the mental health needs of students who may have lost family members during this crisis? How do we get students back in the routine of learning? How do we make up for the learning that they lost during the past school year, all while trying to put on board pieces of distance learning that are new for students and particularly challenging for our youngest students and our students with disabilities.
The Louisiana Department of Education released guidelines for reopening schools in this 20-page document in late June. The new guidelines have 3 plans for best and worst case scenarios. First, students return to schools as normal with virus mitigating protocols in place. Next, students return to a hybrid learning environment with in-person and online classes. Finally, students do not return to campus and take all classes online. Loveall says they're preparing for whatever they have to do to reach their students.
Priority number 1 is keep children safe. Before you teach a child anything, our moral obligation when parents send their children to us is, how do we keep your baby safe? And in the face of a global pandemic that we don't necessarily understand every bit of, that's hard.
And tackling the many obstacles to teaching and meeting their educational goals realistically.
Part of what that means, I think, practically is that we have to do school differently than we've done before. And I think for some of these things, we don't have answers yet, because how do you do socially distanced learning with a 4-year-old?
He says parents have lots of questions too.
We did a parent survey for our parents, and one of the parents said, well, my baby's just so heartstrong, he's going to be the one that goes up to someone and gives him a hug because he doesn't know any better. And so I think that's one of the challenges.
He says his school district, like others throughout the state, are looking at all their options, but hoping to have a model to fit their community's needs.
What I think that means, particularly in our context in East Feliciana, we're looking at what a blended model might look like, where there's fewer people in the schoolhouse, because I know a lot of parents are worried about sending their students back to a classroom that has 20, 25 people in it, particularly considering in our community, we've got state institutions where people are working in human services fields, are up close and personal with folks, providing services to them every day. We've got a lot of multi-generational households where a kid comes home and is being taken care of by grandma who may have health vulnerabilities of her own.
Loveall says the bottom line, they will do what is best to keep the kids safe while trying to achieve what they normally do every single day in every single classroom.
It requires creative solutions, and it's stressful because oftentimes in a classroom, if a kid doesn't learn the math lesson on that day, okay, we're going to try again tomorrow. Let's be creative tomorrow. But if we as school administrators mess this up and don't do this in a way that is healthy for children, is healthy for adults, is healthy for our communities, that's not a math lesson that we can learn another day. That's someone's life at risk.
East Feliciana is scheduled to begin teaching children on August 10th, whether online or in person. If you have questions about the upcoming school year, we want to hear from you. Submit your written or video questions online at lpb.org/reopening. You can also email publicsquare@lpb.org. We'll try to get answers for you on the July episode of Louisiana Public Square, Reopening Education. It airs Wednesday night at 7, July 22nd. Calls for prison reform are being sounded as COVID-19 tightens its hold on America. Natasha Williams spoke with a state organization which says too many inmates remain in harm's way and easy prey for the virus.
Sade Dumas is the executive director of the Orleans Parish Prison Reform Coalition. She says carceral facilities are incubators for infectious diseases, and as Louisiana faces a surge in COVID-19 cases, our community's health is at risk.
We're seeing a clear lack of regard for human life. In the city of New Orleans, there have been some measures taken to reduce the number of people incarcerated. There was a bail fund that bailed out over 100 people. OPPRC also worked with judges to pass an en banc order where people were released, but then there was the problem of police officers still bringing people into a COVID-ridden facility.
Dumas also says OPPRC is disappointed in the state's response to the detrimental effect the coronavirus is having on prisons throughout the state.
We also have seen the governor in Louisiana not move as much as we would have liked him to move to free people from ICE detention facilities and also prisons and jails.
She says because of high incarceration rates throughout the state, Louisiana, once known as the incarceration capital of the world, must implement policies to continue to de-incarcerate.
The big thing I've been saying is you can't separate prison health from public health because guards are entering those facilities every day. They're coming out into the community. They're going to the same stores you and I are going to, and then they're back into that jail. So we see this vicious cycle of this virus being brought into the jail by people being arrested for minor offenses or in prisons is being introduced to the facility through people who work at the facility because the people who are detained there are not going outside.
The prison reform advocate says although Orleans Parish did ramp up testing at their facilities, she says the delay had deadly consequences.
I wonder how things could have been if they tested sooner. And just 2 weeks ago, someone died in a jail facility. There were actually 2 deaths, and we know that one of the men tested positive for COVID-19.
Dumas says many low-risk offenders remain locked up right now because if they're released, jails and prisons lose revenue.
We see that things are playing out, and it's not just prison and jail. It's this reinforcement of racism in our community. It's this reinforcement of capitalism that's harmful to the point of we need to keep you in here so we can get paid. So it really sucks if you die, but we can't send you back to the community because you're our ticket. You're a meal ticket.
She says COVID-19 has shined a bright light on the true disparities at jails and prisons throughout the state.
I think it also rings a bell to the community of who we're locking up. So again, that bail fund, they bailed out over 100 people. And these people did not pose a risk to our public safety. If they can be out during a pandemic, they could have been out at any other time. So I think this illuminates the fact that we need to reduce the population of jails and prisons across the nation because we are locking up people for being poor. And then when a pandemic has political instead of human focus where we're looking at lives and we realize people should not die in a pandemic, especially for something like being in a carceral facility because they're poor.
The Orleans Parish Prison Reform says they will continue to fight for a smaller jail and more humane justice system. We're now into July, 2 months from the currently scheduled kickoff to college football. But nobody's talking preseason rankings or the favorite to win the national championship even. The conversation is about fans, no season, or a season that begins months later. It's all a lot for Tiger Nation to take in, and with good reason. That's LSU superfan Dean Mancuso on the right after a big win at Florida back in 2014. All smiles because of how the game ended.
There's the snap, and the kick has the distance. Get through there, get through. The Tigers win! Tigers win it!
In January, Mancuso and friends whooped it up after LSU's national championship victory capped a season of perfection. That was 7 months ago. Feels like 7 years.
I just can't imagine it not happening.
What Mancuso can't imagine is suddenly a very real possibility because of the coronavirus. A season in potentially empty stadiums, or maybe none at all.
I mean, it's just so part of your life, and just what just me, myself, that's what I look forward to every year. So it just not having that to look forward to, and just even the unknown right now just makes it even that more stressful, because you kind of like, okay, you don't want to make a decision because you want it to go on, but then you want to know, are we going to be playing football or are we not?
For Mancuso, the angst is heightened because of a personal attendance streak he has going. He hasn't missed an LSU game anywhere, home or away, since the first game of 1988. So his streak of consecutive games,
397.
He had planned to reach a milestone of 400 in a row when the Tigers play Rice in Houston, September 19th.
You confident that you're going to make that?
I was really confident, but as time goes by this summer, it's becoming more and more in question whether that'll really happen.
To be fair, at this point, all systems are go to play the season. It was just 1 month ago that Tiger Athletic Director Scott Woodward said, "We need football. The culture needs football. The state needs football." That was 33 days ago when the virus numbers were coming down. Today, in 37 states, the virus is on the rise, with at least 8 states, including Louisiana, spiking.
All we can do is take one step in front of the other and keep moving toward the season until such a time that the circumstances dictate that we have to do otherwise.
SEC Associate Commissioner Herb Vincent reminded me we aren't in the season yet, and we aren't even practicing yet, but the calendar is closing fast.
The next kind of milestone is Monday for those teams that begin on September 5th. And that goes into what is called required athletics activities, which is still strength and conditioning workouts, walkthroughs, meetings, but that can all still be done with social distancing, proper sanitization. So we take one step at a time. There's another milestone later in July, another one in early August, and we take one step at a time until we do get delayed if we do.
Is there a date that is a super decision date to where you adjust things?
I don't know if there's a drop dead date, a go, no go date. Commissioner Sankey's kind of targeted late July. Early August is that time, because early August is that date when teams really start practicing. You go into kind of your traditional preseason practice. And so you kind of want to know before you get into that period. So late July, early August is probably a decision-making time. We've also said from the very start, quoting Dr. Fauci, is that the virus will lead where we go.
The Ivy League this week, though, had apparently seen enough with the virus and pulled the plug on football and fall sports for 2020. They don't have big TV contracts like the SEC or other Power 5 schools, but their decision is huge, and others could follow. It's been a year where things we never imagined have happened. Who saw sickness and death from an invisible virus coming? The shutdown of sports and of our vibrant economy. And if LSU had to cancel its season or play one minus 100,000 people, the impact could be crippling.
If you think about it for just a minute, we have 64 parishes in our state. 49 of them have smaller populations than fit in Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night. So if you suddenly don't have those people coming in that normally come in, then basically our restaurants and especially our hotels are missing out on the equivalent of Christmas season.
Last year, LSU football cleared $56 million. Its impact on the state exceeds $330 million.
After that wonderful season last year, you can imagine how hyped up and fired up people were going into this. And now we're all doing, with the prospect of maybe not having a football season, we're doing the same thing the restaurant people and the hotel people are doing. We're putting our head down like this and saying, nah, not one more thing, not one more thing. Don't do this to us. So it's a psychological blow too.
As we wait for word about LSU and the SEC, the Big Ten Thursday already announced some news. They announced their teams will play a conference-only schedule, canceling non-conference games. But this is all subject to change. State Tourism says it's the summer of staycations, staying in Louisiana, driving to experience what people from around the world usually come to see. Tonight, we're taking you to Port Allen in West Baton Rouge Parish. Not the typical destination, but we show you at least one compelling reason why it should be. A 5-star review says, a venue not to be missed, family-friendly, nationally recognized, Louisiana sugar plantation life from the mid-1800s. There are 92 other reviews just on Google, and they tally a score of 4.8 out of 5. The destination getting praise is the West Baton Rouge Museum in Port Allen, just across the river from downtown Baton Rouge. The parish is rich in river life and sugar plantation stories, the plantation big house, and of the slaves who kept it going.
Angelique, at the museum, there is a tour called Cuttin' Cane Ain't All We Do. So what is that exactly?
That is our Slavery to Civil Rights tour that we have reworked with the help of Kathy Hambrick, our Director of Interpretation, who is the founder of the River Road African American Museum, to tell these stories, more uplifting stories of what was going on locally during the Slavery to Civil Rights movement. We want to focus on activists, educators, musicians, artists, tell those stories of the fuller lives of Black individuals here in West Baton Rouge. We started by just doing a lot of research and working with others. One of our main advisors is Dr. Gwendolyn Midlow Hall, who wrote the book on Africans in colonial Louisiana and African ethnicities. And she had done a lot of work into those early colonial records that proved that Africans that were brought to Louisiana were brought for different skill sets. These were people that knew how to grow the crops that we needed to grow to make Louisiana sustainable, that knew how to build things, that had blacksmithing and other skills. So these people were targeted to bring here this enslaved population that would build the community and make it a successful thing. So we want to start by the fact that the history doesn't begin in slavery, it begins in Africa, where these people had full lives and then were brought here. We have one cabin on our grounds. That's an 1850s enslaved person's cabin from Allendale Plantation. This was the first building that was moved to our campus in the 1970s.
You sell us like you sell horses and cows.
And we have installed a new exhibit in there where you can hear the voices of enslaved people that are preserved by the Library of Congress. And we also have some spirituals in there.
Steal away home.
One of them that I recorded, a friend of mine singing in Creole as well, Still Away. And we talk about the freedom seekers and others that have fought the good fight over the period of slavery. In our two later cabins, cabin 2 we call it, is where we interpret Reconstruction and Jim Crow. And in cabin 3, where we interpret the 1950s and 60s civil rights movement, we just received a grant from the National Park Service to add some videos and tell those stories about education and what was going on in the West Baton Rouge community during that time.
The passage of time gradually shifted the plantation narrative to one that was more romanticized. This was partially because all that remained of that antebellum commerce was the big houses, the elegant mansions like Oak Alley, Homus House, and Nottoway. Most of the crude slave cabins and tenant houses didn't survive, but some did, and reality shifted the narrative pendulum. The West Baton Rouge Museum was a leader in that shift.
I think you can still look at a beautiful building and say, wow, this is a beautiful building, but I think you need to acknowledge the hands that built that building.
The museum is blessed with an abundance of resources to deliver its narrative. Bergeron says there are personal touches that make the presentations unique.
we're pretty uniquely situated that all of our tours are kind of customized. When you walk in the front door, there's a tour guide that meets you. We ask that you wear, a mask to come in the front door, but then our tour guides will take you through the campus into whatever buildings you want to see, and it can be just your family group. Our demonstrators, our storytellers will even, if you give us a little bit of heads up, we can add some extras on for you. So where right now we can't do our blacksmithing apprenticeship program, but we could have a blacksmith out that would demonstrate some trade secrets for you, or we could have someone doing spinning or weaving or open hearth cooking or different kinds of things that we like to do for special occasions.
At your museum, of course, people, they learn history. Yours seems to be a truly hands-on experience where you immerse yourself.
This museum, is 52 years old this year. It's been around for a long time. It's had a lot of dedicated volunteers. Our board members are just so supportive. And then the community. And I think having the funds and the support from the parish is just huge, and it allows us to do so much. I've worked at smaller museums in the past where you have to fundraise 100%. And when you have the community support like we have here in West Baton Rouge, we're able to do so much.
What a fabulous place. In person or online, you offer a lot. Thank you so much, Angelique Bergeron.
Thank you, Andre. Veni nous autres, hein? Veni côté West Baton Rouge Museum.
The museum is open for visitors, plus there's plenty to see online. Check out their website. It's right there on your screen. For now, the museum won't be entrusted with this statue of the state's last Confederate governor, Henry Watkins Allen, the city's namesake. Thursday, the Parish Council denied a request by Port Allen's City Council to remove it from the grounds of the Parish Council complex. Hope remains it can ultimately become part of the museum's collection. And everyone, that's our show for this week. Remember, you can watch anything LPB anytime, wherever you are, with our LPB app. You can catch LPB news and public affairs shows, as well as other Louisiana programs you've come to enjoy over the years. And please like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. For everyone here at Louisiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Andre Morrow. Until next time, that's the state we're in.
Entergy is proud to support programming on LPB and greener practices that preserve Louisiana.
The goal of our environmental and sustainability initiatives really is to ensure that our kids and future generations can be left with a cleaner planet.
Additional support provided by the Fred B. and Ruth B. Ziegler Foundation and the Ziegler Art Museum located in Jennings City Hall. The museum focuses on emerging Louisiana artists and is an historical and cultural center for Southwest Louisiana. And the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, with support from viewers like you.